Why Prime will make Logan Paul and KSI the richest YouTuber. Hey there, deep down nerds. Today we're talking about something that's got the internet buzzing. Prime Drink, the energy drink that's taken the world by storm. Have you had the Prime energy drink yet? I haven't yet, so it's hard to get and it's really so expensive. This drink has been making headlines lately, and for good reason. It's not only a delicious and refreshing way to get a boost of energy, but it's also set to make its creators, Logan Paul and KSI, the richest YouTubers in history. But what makes this drink so special? How did these two rival YouTubers come together to create it? And where can you get your hands on a can of this stuff? All these questions and more will be answered, so let's get started. If you guys have already had the Prime energy drink, please leave a comment which flavor was the best. Prime Hydration by KSI and Logan Paul is the new candidate in the hydration drink sector, leaving fans and Dawn wanting to buy this soda to drink. But why did former rivals start a drink firmly in the first place? And will it make them billionaires? Their story begins on the 25th of August 2018, when KSI and Logan Paul joined together for a boxing match. This event became the largest amateur boxing match in history, demonstrating the power of their influence when they came together after an unpleasant draw. We saw very little of the duo after KSI's victory until late December 2021, when KSI tweeted that he and Logan Paul had announced we had created our own drink company. Yet fans were expecting boxing fight number 3, considering they already beat each other off twice on 2 separate occasions. After the announcement, fans were pretty pissed off, and KSI and Logan Paul were both swimming in unknown waters. I mean, no creators had created a product before Prime is sold across the US and the UK, partnered with Arsenal Football Club, and created an underground market for a product, with Prime selling for more than 10 times its retail price. There's no doubt that Prime has already become a serious threat to the established sports drinks companies. So will KSI and Logan Paul cash out by selling Prime, or will they stay in the market to compete for that multi-billion-dollar prize? Currently, with a projected increase to $36 billion by 2028. Gatorade, Powerade, and many other names finished in aid. Who knew that the sports drink market was basically a proxy war and never-ending conflict between Coke and Pepsi? Ultimately, Coke and Pepsi own 95% of the sports drink market, making it a supply duopoly. So why did KSI and Logan Paul think they could establish a business that competed with the big boys? Well, what if I told you that they didn't because Prime wasn't even their idea in the first place? You'll discover that it is a firm owned by Congo Brands. The owner of Congo Brands, Max Clemens and Trey Seeger, work with influencers to help them harness their platforms to grow consumer businesses. They create an intriguing brand and then make prominent influencers the face of it. Companies endorsed by large influencers may develop exceptionally quickly since they already have a cohort of fans ready to buy any product their favorite maker is selling. Prime was originally their idea, and they approached Logan Paul and KSI with it, each with the rest owned by some other outside investors with retail expertise. Fundamentally, their goal is simple: to create a healthy alternative to existing sports drinks that taste better, and to grow Prime as big as it can possibly get so that its equities are worth as much as possible when Prime inevitably lists on the stock exchange or is sold to a competitor. I suppose it does from a health standpoint, as Prime is designed to be a healthier alternative to Gatorade or Powerade. Prime pretty much beats Gatorade in every dimension. There's no comparison except for one: price. In general, the price of Prime is around 80 cents more than their competitors for a low-price consumer good. That's a massive difference, but this price difference won't remain large forever. This is due to the magic of something called economies of scale. For example, if you want to buy 100 bottles from a manufacturer, they would charge you a lot more per B. This is because they will provide you with a substantial discount to keep your business for larger orders in the future, and as Prime grows and gains better economies of scale, the cost will eventually fall down because more compatible to the market's competitors, since old firms like Gatorade have bounced by how their products have been produced. Gatorade was introduced in 1965, and since then, governments all around the world have implemented sugar taxes to raise the cost of sugary drinks and discourage customers from purchasing them. We've observed this after Seattle implemented a sugar tax. Given that Prime has only gotten more popular since its launch, it's clear that it's a great product in a fast-growing market, but is it enough to make Logan Paul and KSI billionaires in order to figure that out? The soda tax increased the price of Gatorade by 65%, and they can't change the ingredients of Gatorade because, well, customers will freak out. Prime has taken full advantage of this by designing a low-sugar drink that avoids tax implications while keeping consumers happy. This method is looking at a similar company that is either publicly traded or has recently been bought, then comparing how much profit it had relative to the money spent for it, which gives us a multiple, which then we use to value our own firm. Luckily for us, a very similar company to Prime has recently been acquired by Coca-Cola. In November 2021, Coca-Cola purchased the remaining stake in Body Armor for a cool $5.6 billion, all to bring the company under the Corner brand. The deal valued Body Armor at around $6.59 billion, which is not too shabby, and at the time of acquisition, Body Armor had around $1.4 billion in annual retail sales. According to IRI, the Chicago-based market research agency, Body Armor was valued at roughly 4.7 times its yearly revenue under the multiples valuation approach. Prime reported around $37.6 million in retail sales between July and August 2022. $10 million of this amount was sold between June and July alone, demonstrating how quickly the company is growing if it can supply enough bottles. Prime will generate roughly $100 million in revenue in its first year of operation. Using over a multiple valuation formula, Prime is worth $500 million after 1 year. So they aren't billionaires yet, but what about the next 3 to 5 years? Ship growth is still small in comparison to their competitors, giving them plenty of potential to expand while sitting at $37.6 million in sales. The biggest barrier holding Prime back is production. It's a physical product that needs to be designed, manufactured, and shipped all over the world. This takes time and money, and we can already see that primers are struggling under the weight of demand for the product, with the product constantly being sold out on their website and unavailable in stores. Mamba believes that anything more would require market incumbents to actively sabotage their customers at that market share. Prime will be doing around $1.5 billion in revenue every year, which would value the company at roughly $7 billion and assumed they own 20 of the company each, making KSI a KSI. Prime couldn't scale the revenues, rivaling Body Armor or Powerade in the next 3 to 5 years. Prime could grow to its own 10 to 15% of the entire market going forward. KSI's original Prime announcement on Twitter was titled The Last Chapter, but in reality, the final chapter was simply the beginning of what will most likely become a multi-billion-dollar business. And that's a wrap on our discussion of Prime Drink and how it's set to make Logan Paul and KSI the richest YouTubers, the unique collaboration between the two rival YouTubers, and the incredible popularity of the drink in such a short amount of time. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Until then, stay safe.